Skinner. Absolute Radio.
I went to a thing this week, which is great, and I always look forward to it. And it's the English National Opera Gala. So you get a bit of opera, dinner, and then you spend some money to keep the opera going.
Right.
I'm sorry, Frank. I don't think anyone else at the Opera Gala is looking at the invite thinking, "Oh, dinner."
Well,
a bit of dinner.
Is it included then?
it's all over the tabloids today. This gala. It turns out I was at like the party of the week.
Why is it in the tabloids?
Well, it's got Anna Friel. It says looking a bit worse for wear. It says.
I didn't notice.
I don't know how to speculate.
Did you notice?
She gave a lot of standing ovations to, well, everything, really. I think dessert she gave.
She was enthusiastic.
They're on the next table. I find, I've always found her a bit someone I wouldn't dare approach.
Right.
I've seen her at a few things.
And you work with me.
Yeah. But I think she's very talented in that, but I would never go over and tell her.
Right.
I don't know why. I have a feeling she might headbutt me on the very bridge of the nose.
Oh, that's a sore one as well.
So I didn't go over. She's with Holly Willoughby and Natalie Appleton. Right. I say again, it was an opera do. Times are changing. Anyway, they're all over the papers. But they had... I offered to be a prize on the auction.
What sort of a prize?
Lunch with Frank Skinner at the Ivy.
Oh,
that kind of thing.
Lovely.
That'd be a nice thing to do.
Is it on you? Yeah, lovely.
It will be by the end of it. Now at my age. But it was. It's all raised money for the opera. It's a good cause. I know there's people out there listening to this probably who are starving, but I mean, I do. I try and do a bit, but it's all right to do a bit for culture as well. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? So, so I looked, you get like a tablet on your, a tablet as in,
my kind of party.
like an iPad, not that kind of tablet.
Okay.
No, that's
I was already thinking it sounded quite 90s.
There was none of that on our table. I was with Melvin Bragg on our table. There was none of that.
Oh, is his hair still lovely?
Lustrous.
That's good.
Anyway,
it's a wonderful gift, that, in later life.
Mm-hmm. So I looked at, it's all in categories: arts, entertainment, food, all the prizes you can bid for. So there was one, experiences. So I pressed on that. There was just me. Just lunch with me. There was lunches you could do with other people, but they weren't listed under experiences.
Oh.
They were just
you are
listed.
an experience, though.
Frank Skinner experience.
Yeah, so there was only me. I had my own category.
Well, you should have your own category.
Yeah. Did someone buy it?
So someone bought it for
brilliant.
$3,000.
Shut up.
I know. I was moved. I'm going to have to...
I'm really excited
obviously,
by this.
word has got out that I am fascinated.
This is going to be nice for us, Al.
Yeah.
Did you notice what other people were going for? Were you doing that?
But I didn't want to bring that up.
Oh, didn't you?
But
Okay.
less.
I mean,
But are you secretly delighted Alan has?
I mean, I thought you might bring that up.
I can't bring up, but I mean, yeah, people went... I was really pleased.
I mean, it does make me feel somewhat fortunate.
Think of the lunches we've had when you haven't paid a cent.
Oh, man.
know.
Probably about 150 grand up here. That's great.
Could you write that on a cheque and send it to the English National Opera?
Can we start
it'll
auctioning?
bounce.
Can I auction my position off next week?
Can you what?
What
My
which
brunch
position is that?
position.
Oh, right, I see.
Yeah.
So I don't have many positions left. I'm not giving up another one. Also, you don't want to put a number in their head to start off with when they're bidding.
The best of Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
I was talking to David Baddiel,
Yeah.
who is a dear friend of mine and came around the house. We mainly talked about Marquis Smith, but one of the things we talked about, we went on to talking about, I don't know, stuff, and I was saying that the first avocado I ever had
Oh, yeah.
was at Glastonbury in the late 80s. And there's a comedian who you may know, Al, called Charmian Hughes.
Yes.
And Charmian had got a converted old ambulance which she travelled about in. So that was parked at Glastonbury. And I went in there with her. Come on. Nothing, just friendly.
Just for avocado.
Bounce. Yeah. Well, no, I didn't. She said to me, do you want to... I think actually she had one off. She said, do you want half an avocado? And I'd never had one in my life. And, of course, I didn't want to seem unsophisticated. So I said, oh, yeah, I will. And I was anticipating a pear.
Right.
Oh,
which
I imagine
I think,
you're disappointed.
It is known
which I
as
think,
the avocado pear,
isn't that what Lembit Hopig said to Gabriella Chica? But I thought it was a pear. You know, like a fruit pear thing.
Right.
Yeah. I'm sure it was called avocado.
It was called
pear.
avocado pear.
I believe it was, yeah.
So I
Fact
bit
from
into
history,
it, and it seemed to be made of clay. That's what it tasted like.
You didn't bite the skin, did you?
I don't think I did, actually.
Okay.
I think she gave me a spoon, which I
I'm
took
just
as a
getting
hint.
horror flashbacks to when you ate the bay leaf at the girlfriend's house with the spaghetti.
That
But anyway,
was horrible. As I said, it was like eating a tiny medieval shield. Anyway, that was my first ever avocado, and it really, because it was like nothing I'd had before. It was a real experience. And then Dave is looking at me open-mouthed, and he said, haven't I told you my avocado story?
I want to know Badil's avocado.
I don't think you have. And he said, and then a mate of his who was in a band, he gave Dave an avocado, and Dave had the same sort of experience. Never tasted. He said to me, it was like a different world. And I thought maybe there's a podcast to be had called My First Avocado.
That would be good.
In which you interview people about exactly that.
Right.
And you could expand on it, but I think there's something in it.
I think there is.
Yeah.
Because I think we're of an age now. I know I'm a bit older than you guys. I'm a bit older still tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But we're of an age where I think we're old enough to be the discoverers of the avocado.
Yeah.
It's like the people who were around when Sir Walter Raleigh bought the potatoes back.
We were the early adopters, weren't we?
Yeah. Well, I would have been 30 when I had my first avocado.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I couldn't believe it. I thought I could do a
so different to what you expect, isn't it?
Hey, Frank, I tell you what I'd like. If you had a little review pasted on the avocado. You know, they have the little sticker.
Oh, yeah.
And it just said, like at a gig, and like a 5-star, and it just said, David Baddiel, a whole new world.
Yeah.
I'd buy that, Avo.
I think Aladdin might sue him. Yeah, and I thought you could have a late night sort of adult version called My First Advocate.
I remember that.
Which was about like
I would have been about 5, I guess.
when you entered the world of eggnog. Which is, again, it's an obscure topic. But
Snowball.
I think, oh yeah,
I love a
Advocate
snowball.
lemonade.
Yeah.
I think my first snowball.
I'd
might
drink
just
that out of a
get some
hollowed
people-
out avocado. Sorry, Al.
I think a podcast called My First Snowball might just get people that grew up in cold countries.
Yeah, I mean that.
That's going to be no use, is it? That bit?
There'll be a horror stories. People with one eye saying, "Well, my first snowball blinded me. Thanks very much." Can I say that, Al? Have you got the A5 yet?
Where is the A5?
I don't know. The A5 doesn't it run just by top of?
We've had to loan it out to some other DJs.
That would have been a good joke if I knew where the A5 went.
Absolute Radio.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
Hey, you know they've got this Spice Girls reunion. Does that mean there's new lads reunion?
That'll never come back.
It won't be allowed in the current climate.
Okay.
No, I'm afraid it's the one popular culture phenomenon that has been unforgiven.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a series of black and white photos in something like the Sunday Telegraph magazine about skinheads. Now, I know skinheads, have got a certain heroic... But they were quite a violent subculture in aspects, which the new lads never were.
No.
it was Elizabeth Hurley in a negligee. But there's also lots of great writing
I
about
think I
films,
sound like James
fashion.
Sims in a carry-on film.
Anyway, it's all gone now.
Yeah.
It's all gone.
Gone but not forgotten today on Absolute.
No, completely forgotten.
Airbrushed from history.
Yeah, I think people have forgotten the good bits.
I sometimes do a trawl.
Mind you,
of
Donna Air's in the paper, maybe.
Donna Air and the Spice Girls.
Donna Air, the Spice Girls, surely.
We've reached
Fantasy football beyond
We've
next
reached
week.
peak 90s this weekend.
Yeah, it is. It's gone extremely 90s. If you're listening to this, by the way, on Absolute 90s, you'll probably think, what's new? True. But, have a good time, guys.
I often have
They must love me on Absolute. I can't believe I'm on Absolute 90s.
They just
People are listening thinking, how did we get him?
What a booking.
And he's massive. He's absolutely massive. He's got about 5 series on the telly. People on the 80s are saying, was a club comedian got a job as... And then people listening to this are saying, is he still alive? So I'm covering all the decades.
You are.
What else? I'm 36, in case before you ask.
You're 36?
No, I got 36 cards for my birthday.
Wow.
Did you?
That's how you judge the measure of a man, how many birthday cards they get.
Don't say that. No, I don't believe that.
I love that you counted them.
Oh, God, I'll say.
I'm just imagining you sitting there going 7, 8.
Well, I was thinking
9.
34, and then I had 3 latecomers on Monday. And
Can I ask a question, please? Did you gather them all together as an activity and consciously say, I'm going to count my cards?
No, they were all on display, and I sat back and I counted them with a long. Those sort of pointy sticks they use in 1950s lectures.
Yeah.
I used one of those. Yeah. There was one. I just tweaked the badge on it.
Oh, yeah.
You get a 61 today badge.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is very handy on the buses.
Yeah.
Get a lot of people standing up for you.
You did.
And A&E, I jumped 3 places. That badge on.
You did mention to me last week that you take a note of the birthday cards that you get. You make sort of a little mental calculation of your popularity. And I remember looking at you quizzically.
Yeah.
As if, do you?
Doesn't everyone? If you didn't get any, wouldn't you be a bit gutted?
I think if I got somewhere between 3 and 50, I would feel exactly the same.
I would imagine...
but that didn't answer my question.
No,
if you
right.
got less than 3, you'd be gutted.
Yeah, probably. If I got 0,
it's all about scales.
I
was telling my... Anaconda last night.
I thought we were
talking about moisturiser, and that just cropped up anyway. Yeah. Sorry, you were saying,
No, I was just going to say, I would expect to get the majority of my birthday greetings via a sort of digital means, I'm afraid, these
I don't
days.
count. I certainly don't count those.
Okay. I'm glad I sent the text.
Those are those that couldn't be bothered as far as I'm concerned. But the cards, you sent me a card.
I did the text as a follow-up, just so you know I care.
Oh, I don't mind a follow-up text, but I don't mind as well, but not instead. That's my motto on so many areas.
The best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
On the subject of gift giving, our own little show has had an email about it. Morning, Frank, Alan and Emily, from a long-time reader but first-time writer. I thought he was joking for a while, but Big Daddy's, that's you, continued reference to bamboo as them, combined with his insistence that any mention of bamboo is not a plea for them to send freebies, leads me to believe that Frank still believes bamboo to be a brand of hosiery rather than simply a bamboo fibre-based material that socks and underwear in general of any brand can be made from.
Can I say that's absolutely correct? That is one. I thought that's the brand.
No,
well, they
the
make
fabric.
stuff out of bamboo.
Yes.
Yes.
That's why we were talking about
having a laugh.
It's made
but we
of
are now.
bamboo.
It's about bamboo that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can show you the scars, let's put it that way. That's a proper bamboo, as in bamboo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very fast growing, so it's quite a good material to use because it's.
Is it that sort of fudgy bit in the middle?
I think so, and they probably spin it into
It all
some
comes from the
yarn.
plant.
I'm
yeah,
not an expert.
like the cotton.
Oh, go to the foot of our stairs.
You don't have to do that. You can
No,
stay on the radio.
don't go
I
that far.
never knew that.
Really?
Oh, okay.
Well, that's exactly what Prisoner 312 has suggested.
No, they're spot on.
They say, please, can you clear this matter up once and for all to prevent him from labouring under this misconception into his, as per the Japanese tradition, glorious new phase of life. I hope Frank enjoys his new socks and discovers that this fabric, far from being coarse and scratchy, is as stretchy as lycra, as soft as cotton and as smooth as silk.
He's after free socks now.
I think
Yeah.
so, yeah.
He's
I mean, that's
she.
quite OTT.
Yeah, innit? Maybe they work in the bamboo industry.
What, for BAM?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Or other.
Of course, after BAM didn't send me any socks, I might have done a bamboo.
Yeah.
You get me? In that I booed BAM.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
no, that's
Got you.
lovely.
Got it.
And I picked my way through that. It got ruder, sounded ruder.
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I'll tell you what was on the cover of one of the papers this morning. It's the Times. I'll be
Which one
straight
was
with
that?
you.
Oh, I like the people.
And don't get it on a Saturday. You barely get
I
it.
know
I don't
people.
get it on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Not at those prices. But I don't know what it is. What is it actually? It's just over £1, obviously.
Start texting. How
Is
much
it
is
over
the,
a
Su-
pound?
how
Or is
much
it
is the
not?
Sunday people? Is
If
not
it's-
texting.
If it's normally under £1, but this week it's over £1, just because
Wow.
sometimes you just want to go mad in
More
life.
news in the people.
RRP, 85p.
Anyway, on the cover of the Times, the London Times, was a picture of what she called Kristen or Kirsten. I've never worked it out. Scott Thomas.
Oh, yeah, Kristen.
Kristen?
Kristen Scott Thomas?
See, it's one of those.
Well, I don't know now, Frank.
Kristen, Kirsten.
yourself.
Kristen Scott Thomas. Kristen
Right.
Scott Thomas, I'm going to go
Kristen.
with. Yeah, let's go
Yeah, let's
Kristen.
go with that.
Okay. That woman from films.
4 weddings and
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
Very beautiful.
And, yeah. But, you know, that's how they are, aren't they?
Who?
Actors.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think Emily for a moment thought you meant women.
Some women
I don't know
are.
what you meant.
Come on, be fair. Some of them are.
Some of them are.
Some
yeah.
of them are.
I'm very pro some of the women.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, she's playing Clementine Churchill in the new
Oh, yes.
film about
Oh, right.
Churchill.
Yeah.
Clementine.
Is this the Gary Oldman one?
Yeah.
Very small orange breasts, like Clementine Churchill. That's why they named Clementines after her.
Okay.
Have I got the name right? They do call them Clementines.
Well, the
don't
producer's
they?
laughing.
They do
so
call
that's a
them
good sign.
Clementines.
No, but yeah, Clementine. They call them. They used to be tangerines when I was a
Tangerines,
kid.
yeah.
Now they're satsumas
Yeah.
and sometimes easy peelers, which I think Clementine Churchill was also called in her youth. That's when she was in the Victorian Police Force.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, it's on a picture of her, and I was saying to Daisy, our producer, who's university educated. I was saying to her that
Never mentioned that.
yeah, she drops it now and again. Just drops it in, especially like if she's bringing in tea or something.
Yeah.
She'll start talking about her degree. Like I'm supposed
yeah.
to feel bad about it. I don't deal the cards. Anyway, they love the things that the papers love more than anything is a picture of someone pretending to be a real person.
Oh, yeah.
They
Oh,
love.
yeah.
I mean, they could have put a picture of Clementine Churchill on the cover. That would have been more
Well, it
accurate.
depends.
Yeah, well, not obviously.
What you've been saying this morning.
Not with the Satsumas on show. But what's the fascination with that?
Oh, I see. What, in character you mean? They like
is
it?
that?
Yeah.
Because Gary Oldman is playing
He's
Winston Churchill.
Yeah.
And what's the fact about Gary Oldman that people think they don't know but everybody knows?
Alan, are you aware of the
He's
facts?
colourblind.
No, you know what it is.
His sister was in EastEnders.
She was Big Mo.
Big Mo.
Big Mo, was it?
Surely Big Mo was the obvious casting for Churchill.
Yeah.
Could have saved the hours saved in the makeup.
4 hours at a time to put the costume
She
on.
just walk in, give her a cigar, she's off.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
Can I just tell you, I was in a restaurant once with me and Kath and Boz, that's my family, and Bozzy's first ever teacher suddenly turned up.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it was really nice, and he was sort of slightly in love with her, as most boys are with their first teacher. And she came over and chatted to us and all that, and he was, staring at her, and it was lovely. And so she went away, and he turned to me and said, bear in mind he's 5, he said, I have no idea who that was.
Excellent.
And he bluffed it already.
Wow.
He's got into that thing of bluffing.
Yeah.
That is great.
I remember my first teacher, and that was, before the old king died. Miss Page, she was called.
Oh.
And she had, I'll tell you what, I think...
You must have loved that. So many punning opportunities for a young punner.
I think we can say this in the current climate. But
should we check?
She wore those very... in the 60s, this was the 60s, she wore those very, very pointy brassiers.
Okay.
I mean, really pointy.
Can I just say there's 3 female staff with their head in their hands in this room, and then there's you and I just talking.
Well, I think it's all right to say that.
I think it's
very
fine.
pointy.
But maybe when they're reading this.
Yeah. I wonder if she's still with us, Miss Page. Probably not.
That's nice. Should we end it on that?
Let's end on that.
Yeah, lovely.
Let's end on that.
Text in on 81215
I
if
thought
you
about
know.
when last time I was in Giza,
Me too.
looking at the Great Pyramids.
The best of Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
So I went to the Brits this week.
Oh, Big Daddy, I love it when you go to the
You didn't go
Brits.
to them for ages, and now you've been back a couple
You can't
of times,
stop.
haven't you?
Yeah, you know what? It's a great night out.
Is it?
When you're
It
not
is.
presenting it.
Yeah, well, obviously. Though I must say, to be fair, I think Jack Whitehall is the first person I've seen properly do well.
Oh,
Well,
good.
next to you,
Yeah.
who would obviously be my fave as a presenter of anything, I think he did a very fine job as well.
Well, I did it like a man in a Messerschmitt, belching out black smoke and flames, heading towards the lead grey ocean
Operating a
beneath him.
scorched earth policy or something, were you?
But no, I thought he did a good job. So,
Yeah.
fair play. Obviously, on one level, that upset me.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think, I was more pleased than I was upset. And I think that's a sign I'm
good.
becoming a better person as I get older.
Yeah.
How
Okay.
was the seating situation? Was it, oh my God, there's Stormzy, or was it Mind Your Head's catering staff?
Stormzy was on our table.
No.
No, not actually. It was actually Storm was on our table, who was Ronan Keating's wife.
Oh, yes.
But people might call her Stormzy, who knows her.
They might.
Yeah.
Very nice. And, of course, my mates from Kiss Breakfast Show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, Ricky, Melvin and Charlie, they are the best. They are. If I'd been born much later, I'd want to hang out with them all the time. As it is, once a year's enough at my age.
So is it the same guys that were there last year?
Yeah,
that you
but
sat
they're
with?
such
Yeah.
Have a little
It's such
reunion every
Right,
year.
it's nice.
They're such nice. Honestly, I hugged them all at the end of the night and told them how lovely they were.
And what
but
did you think? So I want to know your highlights.
my guest was the former England cricket captain Mike Brealey.
Was it?
He loved it.
Strange Lies.
Yeah. I wish I'd.
Was
took
it your
What if
personal
I phoned him
assistant?
out the blue? Is that Mike Brealey? Yeah. So who is this? It's Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, you do. Google it.
Also, so 80s to call people up.
I'd be happy
Out
to.
the
Oh, Mike
blue.
Brealey, you got to call him.
Hello.
I don't.
Do you know him? Do you know Mike Brealey?
Never met him. But I think 44 first-class centuries. He deserves a night at the Brits as much as anyone.
True.
Yeah.
But anyway, we didn't go. Gemma Atkinson was on our table,
Right.
Oh, yeah, I know, yeah.
who danced there just the week before, I think.
Oh, I
as
thought you meant
part
she
of-
danced
on the
there
tour,
as a
on the
part of
Strictly
the Strictly
tour.
tour, yeah.
You said
Yeah.
she danced there. I thought you meant as a mode of transport, that she'd like
Yeah, she
shimmied
danced
into the
on that big
building.
grove. She danced all the way there. She got dropped off. There were some blokes. They were congering their way to Bank in East London. She said she couldn't drop us off at Greenwich. Yeah, get on the mat. And so off they went. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Why don't we start a taxi service, which is a conga, where you
Yeah.
just
Full
pick
of
people up
ideas
and
this
drop them off?
morning.
Yeah, I don't know how much people would pay to be congered.
It's going to be hard to monetise that, but we should say it.
But let's not monetise.
We could
Let's
set it up
it
as
could
a
be charitable.
non-profit.
It could be a supplement to the money we raise for the 24-hour radio show.
It's like an episode of Grange Hill.
See, we got to do it quick.
Frank, last time you went to the Brits, you gave us a lovely review of Little Mix. Who was your big surprise this year? Was there one act that stood out for you, Frank Skinner?
I got to say,
Yeah.
and I actually hadn't, because what I do, I lean across to Ricky, who's sitting next to me from Kiss, and in a very, you know that bit in The Nightmare Before Christmas, what's this? What's this? Da, 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 da. What's this? What's this? I do a lot of that. And like when Thingy came, I still can't remember her name, but I want to call
Dua Lipa.
I was calling her Fra Lippo Lippi, who is it's a 15th century Italian artist that Robert Browning, you probably know, wrote a poem about.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so when she came on, it was very much, what's this? She was under an enormous stalk. Did you see it?
Yes, I
Dua
did.
Lipa.
She had a
She
little
sat
bit of...
under an enormous stalk, which I
Hawaiian
assumed was sponsorship.
Oh.
I thought Stork Marjorie
They're back.
is sponsoring a 14th century
Yeah.
Florentine artist.
Yes.
Truly, I have lost touch. So, yeah, I did a lot of that. But for me,
Who was the winner of
man
the
of the night, it's got to be Kendrick Lamar.
Absolute Radio.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
Can I just say, Al, I love that he went to Statue of Liberty and Hard Rock Cafe in 1978.
I love the
Tourist
Hard Rock. I know one isn't supposed to love the Hard Rock Cafe anymore.
Aren't you?
No, I don't think. I think it's not seen as that cool, but I love it. I'll tell you what I did do in there, though. It's the one thing about the East Coast
Oh, listen to him now.
of America is they haven't quite caught up with the healthy eating thing the way the West Coast have.
Oh,
is
they
that
not?
So I said, I actually got a double negative. I said to the waitress in the Hard Rock Cafe, have you got any? Because Bozzy's dairy intolerant. You know, all kids got to have something now.
Yeah.
And I said, you can't do dairy. Have you got any soya milk? And she said, no, sir.
Oh.
Like, I really know.
Excellent.
I'd rather you didn't bring that up again. That was the implication. Yeah, so that was the end of that. So he ate cereals like crisps, just
All
out,
right,
out
just-
the box. Lovely.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I'm a big fan of the. You know, I've got
The
that
Hard Rock.
jacket. You know that jacket I've got. I told you once. I won Lad of the Year. And I tell a lie. I tell a lie. It wasn't that bad. It was Chap of the Year.
Oh.
There's quite a lot to unpack here.
Yeah,
So if we could just return. You won Chap of the Year.
Chap of the Year.
And can I guess the year?
You know, it's 90,
96.
90 something.
We're going 94 through 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I won a leather Hard Rock Cafe varsity jacket. You know those ones with the different coloured sleeves.
Funny how the word win can mean so many different things, isn't it?
Well, it was part of. I got a trophy
Yeah.
and also a leather Hard Rock Cafe varsity jacket. As did Jürgen Klinsmann. I remember. We both had them in. They came in big carrier bags.
I mean, that must have been quite a sight, you two.
It's one of
in
the
the
few-
leather.
In a list of things I've got in common with Jürgen Klinsmann, I can't think of many others. But Yeah, I've still got it. Warm.
Still using the carrier bag, or
No, I gave that to an autograph hunter. They like a carrier bag at least 12 years old, I find. the hardcore collectors.
Says the man with a hard rock leather jacket.
Yeah, just a little bit of the design left on the bag, but almost none. Yeah, inside. And then 4 clipboards and a file.
So you're
That's what I
gonna?
call it. Yeah, sorry.
Do you think you might ever get rid of the jacket, or just gonna keep it in the wardrobe?
It's leather. I don't like to get rid of leather.
yeah.
Because
Okay.
it so rarely comes my way, I'll be honest with you.
Oh, S&M community didn't tell me that.
And also, I think I could probably wear it now in a sort of ironic way. Do you know what I mean? Whereas then I wore it with profound sincerity.
Yeah.
No. So, yeah, I might get that out again, actually.
Yeah, wear it next weekend.
Shall I wear it here?
Oh.
It's a little bit big for me, I'll be honest with you.
Don't matter.
I can jump I can sidestep and the jacket doesn't move. There's that much shoulder room.
Let's give old Klinsmann a call.
It's a big Victoria principle. I once had dinner with Sir Alan Sugar. No, I lie. Lunch.
Okay.
And he began an anecdote. I remember when I signed Jurgen Klinsmann for Spurs on my yacht in Monaco. I think that tops my Hard Rock Cafe jacket story.
Oh, definitely.
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I don't know if people are generally aware of the phenomenon that is Hamilton.
Yes.
Hamilton is a musical.
Smash hit.
Well, it won 16 Tonys. You know, Tony Awards are like the theatre awards on Broadway. 16.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could even name 16 Tonys. If we sat here now,
Mowbray.
Pulis?
Tony Mowbray, both football managers.
Straight off the bat.
Tony Grealish, what about him? West Brom midfielder whose nephew is Example.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Shut up.
That is good knowledge.
Yeah. So I went to see Hamilton.
And?
Awful.
What did I just
Honestly,
say? I love you for saying that.
I thought it was awful. And it was I thought, this can't be it. Is this it?
Brilliant.
I honestly thought they were going to stop after 10 minutes and go, nah, this isn't it.
Kidding you?
It's messing about. Obviously, this isn't it.
So, Frank, tell me why.
Really?
Tell us why.
It's about history. Now, you know, I love musicals and I love history. So it
Yes, I
should
would have thought it would have been up your
And
Strasbourg.
I quite like hip-hop, so it should have been
Yeah.
made for me.
But
But the way they do the history, I think it's like if you got the Wikipedia page of Alexander Hamilton and thought, you know what, I could set this to music. I wanted to turn round to the Royal Circle. I was in the front row of the Royal Circle. I wanted to turn round and say to them at the interval, what are you seeing in this that I'm not seeing?
Yeah.
That would have been awkward, I thought. And also I was worried I might have toppled backwards.
Absolute Radio.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
I want to get off the subject of rulers briefly because I feel it would be somewhat remiss of us not to bring up the subject of Richard Madeley this morning. There was an extraordinary story about him and the Gallagher brothers. And this is their spiritual home, really, isn't it?
Absolute
Noel and
Radio.
Liam? Yeah, would you say?
Yeah.
What, Richard Madeley and the Gallagher
Well,
brothers?
just the Gallagher brothers.
What a
This
band
is
that
their-
would have been.
It would have changed everything, wouldn't it?
Josie and the Pussycats.
Yeah.
So they, I think it's fair to say.
I imagine that Judy would have been their hard-bitten manager.
Yes.
Doing really, feared by everybody in the business, doing
Yeah.
really hard deals.
Yeah.
Getting a share of the parking. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
I think it's.
Fix it, Finnegan.
Yeah, that's what
Oh,
should
no.
be called.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say they sometimes have little disagreements.
The boys.
Noel and Liam.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what happened?
You about to cast Richard Madeley as a sort of a peacemaker role.
Well, yes.
Betwixt and between.
Well, no,
them.
what happened?
Well, like he's the Conciliation Service ACAS. Or indeed a kind of ombudsman.
I wonder if they've turned to Acast to patch things up between Noel and Liam yet.
I don't know.
I don't know if
But they
do
need to make up
personal.
for Christmas because you know my rule on that. You can't fall out at Christmas.
Is
It's
that the
too
rule?
common to do that. Yeah, you can't. You have to get on it. Just see it through Christmas. And the same reason you can't break up in January. It's embarrassing.
They used to have a consumer.
It's so basic.
It
We
is.
split up in January. Oh, come on.
I don't want to split up in January. My birthday on the 28th.
No, good
That would
point.
be folly indeed. There used to be a bloke called Ed Doolan who did consumer problems on BRB in the West Midlands.
Right.
And I remember a bloke phoning him up and saying that his uncle had taken his pillow and he wouldn't give it back. And Ed Doolan got really angry with this guy. I don't deal with those sort of problems. This guy was quite hurt. Anyway.
Richard Madeley. Let's.
Yes. So what happened was that Richard Madeley has publicly stated that Noel and Liam, he basically thinks that they robbed his house. They burgled his house in the early stages of their
Well, his Aunt
career.
Judy's house.
Yeah, his Aunt Judy's. They were living in Manchester. He said they used to do a lot of houses in that area. And he asked
not
them...
Liam and Noel did.
Liam and Noel did.
Not Richard and Judy.
No, and he asked them about this, and they said, yeah, I think we did do that one. Which is the most brilliant response I've ever heard.
What I wish had happened is someone had said to them, whose houses did you rob in Manchester? And they'd have said, definitely Madeley.
Come on.
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I have something that's just come in, which is, well, it relates to the both of you. So I think it would be most suitable if I read this out. I'll begin. This is the new formal me. Morning, Frank, Alan, and the DME. I just wanted to thank, Frank, for the fairly new personal hygiene technique that has now become a subconscious part of my post-shower routine. After numerous weeks since it was discussed on the show, I'm still spraying antiperspirant on my knee pits before getting dressed.
Oh, there you go.
Keep up the great praise redacted. P.S. Alan,
Yes.
I had my dinner at the Ship Inn in Midfield yesterday.
Murfield.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's where
He
I
said
grew up.
Midfield.
It's a typo. These things happen.
Yeah, but I should have known that.
It's
Under the watchful gaze of a framed photo of your good self
There
they
is.
have on the wall.
That's hilarious.
I think this now makes us drinking buddies. That's from Daniel Fortis in Dewsbury.
The Ship Inn in Murfield is a pub that I worked in during my teenage years.
And now your picture's on the wall. Now,
Apparently.
if you want an image of progress in life,
Yeah.
that's it.
You can insert the word slow into there if you want an image of slow progress.
And the watchful gaze, were they working there then?
That's amazing. I'm really impressed by that.
That is.
I did not know that. And I return to Murfield fairly frequently, so it's interesting.
Oh,
Great.
Frank, we should go on a little pilgrimage
I
there.
sense there's a mix of thrilled and also I wonder what picture it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a bit of me
That's what I
thinking, oh, God.
There'll be a denim shirt knocking around in it.
Possibly.
I hope so.
That's brilliant. Now, if there's any
all right.
other frame photos of the cockerel,
No.
that's great. Did I tell you I was in Edinburgh once and I went. This bloke had black and white photos on the wall of all the celebrities who'd eaten at his pizza
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
restaurant. Did I tell you this?
Don't know.
One of them was Frankie Valli.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, Frankie Valli," and he said, "Yes, he came in here." And I said, "I bet I know what pizza he had." He said, "I don't remember what pizza." I said, "No, but Frankie Valli on the Four Seasons."
Yeah.
I said, "I bet I know what pizza he had." He said, "Really, I don't remember what he had." I said, "But he was in the Four Seasons." He said, I don't know. He's a very nice man, but I don't know what pizza." Oh. When am I going to get a chance to use that again?
No, he wasn't going with you on that.
No, that was desperately disappointing.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
I stayed, and I'll tell you this, this week, or certainly since I was last on, it's 10 days ago now, if I want to be precise. I stayed at the Hotel of Wine.
Oh, yes.
Do you know Hotel de
Yes,
Van?
I do
Oh,
know.
is that what you call it?
Well, that's what it...
He's doing a sort of Matt LeBlanc. You know how we
Yes.
call Matt LeBlanc Matt the White?
No, but it is called the Hotel of Wine.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I get it now.
yeah. You know what their slogan is? I wrote this down. Their slogan is money can't buy happiness unless you spend it on wine.
Oh. That's tricky for you.
Yeah, that is tricky
with
for
your
me.
eschewing of the demon
I think
drink.
it can buy psychological desolation. What about that?
Also,
Less catchy as a
Yeah.
slogan.
Yeah, and also too deep.
You don't want that written up on the bar that you're in, do you?
no, I prefer a simple. You don't have to be mad to work here, but it helps.
Yeah.
I also wrote
Out
something
of
else
favour
down
these
this
days.
week. I'm actually looking at the notes on my phone. I saw an advert for Nescafe, the popular coffee.
Interesting intonation.
What?
Nescafe. Oh,
Yeah.
no, you got it. Nescafe.
Nescafe, yeah. And it
What
says,
do you say? Nescaf.
I say Nescafe, but he
That's the
says...
same.
No, he says Nescafe.
yeah. So, okay. Well, anyway.
Like cafe. Anyway.
It's like the ageism on this show. It's terrible. So this is something that was said on this advert. Unironically,
Okay.
Okay.
your first coffee is the most important thing on earth.
Oh, I hate people that say
Wow.
things
What
like
are
that.
you talking about?
Well, it's the people with the Garfield coasters going, coffee.
Yeah, I need some caffeine. No, you don't. You need some strychnine. Oh dear, it's a drink.
People that say in interviews, Frank, what's the first thing you do in the morning? A vat of coffee.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no. I mean, please, if you're listening, and even if you love coffee, stop saying that.
Stop going on about coffee.
And also, when I was a kid, people drank coffee, fine, especially if they'd been to, say, youth clubs.
Yeah.
It was still a
Youth
bit.
clubs.
It was still a slight novelty coffee. It was still. If someone said, if you say someone, do you want a cup of tea, and they said, I wouldn't mind a coffee if you got it, you think, oh, hoity-toity. But
Now, Frank, the builders, my Polish builder said the other day, you got latte?
Wow.
I mean, that's
come
exactly.
on.
What's happened now is people like to think they know about coffee.
Yeah.
So people say, oh, they do a great cup of coffee there. No, they just do a cup of coffee.
I had builders once that brought their own coffee. He said, I don't really want your coffee. I'm something of a coffee snob.
And then he got out the Nescafe.
Yeah. And they listen to Six Music. That's the kind of builders that we're talking about there.
Yeah.
And if you made him a cup of tea and asked him how he liked it, did he say builders?
Oh, yeah, that would have been a good point.
Yeah. Builders coffee. Has ever even heard of that?
Never.
Anyway, coffee. Can I just tell our loyal readers
Yeah.
that coffee is not a thing to know about? History, literature, science, even if you like. But you don't know about coffee. It just is.
Science gets a begrudging admission.
It's like knowing about
I guess.
milk. Oh, yeah, I know quite a lot about milk. Shut up.
The best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Good morning. Had an idiotic eureka moment yesterday when I was travelling with a colleague to get some
Sorry,
petrol.
can I stop for any new listeners?
Oh, yes.
Because, they're flocking in at all times.
Oh, yeah.
An
So we
idiotic
hear.
eureka moment is when you don't get something that everyone else has got.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we think of an obvious example?
Sooty and Sweep.
Sooty
being
and
named
Sweep.
after-
The fact that that's a pun on, both.
Yeah.
They're both
Chimney.
chimney cleaning,
Window clean.
chimney cleaning
Not help make this clearer.
concepts.
Yeah.
Had an idiotic eureka moment yesterday when I was travelling with a colleague to get some petrol. When I questioned which side the pump cap was on, they informed me of the little arrow on the petrol pump indicator on the dashboard, which points to which side you fill up from. Absolute game changer, Nick from Leicester.
I must admit, I did not know that.
Well,
Well-
I've heard about this, but I don't think my car's got one.
The motoring correspondent.
Yeah, I know, I'm outraged.
Well, I found out about this game changer some months back, and I get excited every time I see that arrow.
You see, my method is, having had the same car for 5 years, I remember
Well,
which side it's on.
that's good. But
I don't.
I've twice in the last 3 weeks gone to the wrong side.
I was going to say,
Petrol
bought a new
station.
car.
No.
Yeah.
I remember.
I've had to
I
drive
remember.
A bit
around.
Kendrick Lamar.
I remember remembering the wrong side once, and I parked, and I took the hose right across the
I'd
back of,
never
and I
go
was
right across.
really striding with this hose. Like I was trying to, if you can imagine trying to get an elephant into
that's
a
awful, Frank.
delivery truck, and you had him by the trunk.
Yeah.
And I was oh man,
Or you could. Well, I reversed once and tried to park wrong way round, and they spoke on the microphone and said, "Don't do that, please."
what about when I was
So
doing
humiliating.
I was doing an interview once.
At the petrol
with
station.
Yeah. I was it. Someone else
Work
was
with them all,
driving,
Al. Work with them all.
and they
station.
stopped for petrol, and I was on the phone to someone from the Colchester Gazette. We're trying to build it up. And I got out the car and I was saying, yeah. So, when I first started doing comedy, and suddenly this the public announcement system went. And I couldn't hear. And I said, sorry, mate, I can't hear. There's some sort of PA system on the garage forecourt. It was going. I said, I'm really sorry about this, mate. Whoever heard of a garage where they make? And then I could see the bloke waving from inside. What he was saying was, switch off your phone immediately. Because you can blow up an entire garage with a mobile phone.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
Which is why I
When
always
did that happen, by the way?
Well, I always use headphones so they can't see. But if you've ever been on the wrong end of the microphone announcement, it's Mortis Picardo.
Well, when you're on doing an interview, I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
It was like one of those where, all line up for the egg and spoon race type announcements, very echoey. But is it true that a spark, when you get sparks fly off your mobile phone, that phenomenon that we've all seen many, many times. I just don't think it's ever happened. If anyone's got any evidence, and don't give us the gory details of people on fire running.
No fatalities.
Well, if there's fatalities, just keep them under your hat. Breakfast, keep it light, that's what we're saying.
Absolute Radio.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
Oh, I tell you what, I had a fondue.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
I haven't had one of them for years.
I've just had my first this week.
Congratulations.
Shut up.
What are the chances?
That is, I'm not even lying. Really?
Yeah.
I've had my first one since the 80s, I think.
Really?
They were quite big in the 80s in the West Midlands.
The fondue?
Everyone got a fondue set.
Well, I had one once in Juan Le Pin, and I didn't like it. That's in France.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't like it because the little stick, I burnt my lip with it. I think it's too dangerous.
I don't think the stick is meant to really touch mouth, is it? I thought that the stick
No, I
was
think
for
I
bread.
made an error.
Oh,
yeah.
right,
I put it straight in. How did you get on?
I put it straight in as well.
How'd you get on then?
It was great. I mean, isn't fundamentally don't...
Fundamentally?
Yeah, fundamentally. I love it. I'm a very big fan of it.
Oh, no.
He's off.
When we want something to eat, don't we really basically want a bowl of melted cheese? Isn't that like the ultimate? I mean, just it's dripping off the bread. I stuck gherkins in it.
Did you? Nice.
Oh, pickled onion. I stuck a pickled onion
That's nice
in
for
it.
everyone
Did
else.
Yeah.
Really
That's on the
courteous.
fork. It was great, though. I thought, why don't I just eat fondue all the time?
There's several good reasons to not do that. But,
then I remembered the national obesity crisis.
yeah.
Also, the
not
assembly.
fondue caused that, I don't believe.
The assembly required for the fondue, the washing up.
There is a bit of kit involved, isn't there?
I'm getting bumps and burns. It's like a chemistry experiment. I haven't got the time.
Well, I seem to remember in the 80s when they got big. I remember people bought woks as well. Everybody got woks in where God, we were so...
I've still got a wok. What's wrong with a wok? Woks are great.
I'm not saying
It's
there's anything
lovely.
wrong with them. Calm down, you're making a fool of yourself.
Get very defensive about woks, it turns out. I never knew that about myself.
Yeah, wow.
Until right now.
God. I'm
Worst
afraid Frank
argument.
pressed the wok button.
Yeah. I've always wondered what makes Alan angry. Woks.
Yeah. He's a wok defender. Big time. So, no, but I remember with the fondues, people, they weren't... You'd think melted cheese is like a big enough indulgence for anybody. And then people started having chocolate fondues.
Oh.
Where they just melted chocolate and they
I don't like that.
I'm not for that.
That's too much, isn't it?
Oh, it's a bit... I don't
But
like
then
it.
again, if you've got the stuff out and it's time for pudding, you may as well just give it a wipe with
You want to have two of
Bit
them
of
going at the
kitchen roll.
same time, like plate spinning. The heat, though, the intense heat at the dining table. Why, you had to eat in a welding mask.
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, I don't want to wrench us out of Zurich again. I'm having such a lovely time with you there. But we've had...
The air's much cleaner than
Is
it is
it?
in London. Oh, different world. Carry on.
Same world, different country.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, my geography's
It's a bit pedant.
At least you didn't bring up woks.
yeah, don't get me started.
Alan finds woks very triggering.
Yeah.
136 has texted in. Dear Frank et al. And M, my wife and I always say the word avocado in a Brian Ferry voice. That's Neil from Battersea. Do you want to give that a try, Frank?
Avocado. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And 806 has texted, Hi Frank, my wife and I were married in 1987 and received no less than 6 fondue sets.
Wow.
Result.
To this day, we have never had a fondue.
They could do a multi-fondue, like a Rick Wakeman gig, like with them on different tables around them, with them turning around, taking out bits of bread, pickled onion, maybe a live canary. Oh, no, sorry, everyone.
You say that, but they couldn't.
I think you'll find that comes under the banner of very cruel.
Yeah, I think you're right.
They couldn't. They say they've never had fondue. To this day, we've never had a fondue and can't be bothered with the hassle for a lump of melted cheese on an olive. We ended up giving them back as wedding presents, and in fact gave one back to the person who gave us ours, and they never knew until we owned up 25 years later.
That's quite
I
tight.
never used one of them. Can you believe that?
Yes, of course I can. I suspect there are people all over the country with dusty fondue sets.
Well, send me one. Because I'm gagging for
Next
it now.
week we're going to have loads of fondue sets here.
I tell you, it's...
It's going to be like Tom Daly's Master Pan all over again.
It
do you
is.
remember the steamboat? Do you remember that one?
No.
No, we're not that old, dear.
More late. I'm not talking about how I arrived here.
The best of Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
I tell you what I really wanted to talk about this morning, and I've left it a bit because we had to go to Zurich and
Is
we
it
had some
Kevin?
lovely fondue-related... No.
Okay.
We had some lovely fondue-related moments.
Oh, yes.
And then there was the Prud'hon part of the show.
Each time I see a little girl... I'll leave that one there.
No, really do leave that.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about Katy Perry and Taylor Swift
Oh, good, me too.
because there's been a bit of a John Thaw in relations
Yes.
between those two. They've been feuding, as you may be aware.
For years.
I
6
have
years.
to say, I didn't know about the feud until it... the first I heard of it was that they'd made friends.
Yeah.
I hadn't picked up on the feud.
Really?
Well, you know, I used to be
They've been throwing
very
shade
much...
all over the place.
You know, I used to be into, like, gangster rap and all that. And when they had feuds, you heard about it because people got killed.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a big... and this was never going to get out of hand, was
No.
it? Taylor
But you
Swift
say
and
that in
Katy
a sort of
Perry.
misty watercoloured memories way.
No,
as if
but
you
I'm just saying
miss
there's
those good old
feuds
days.
and there's feuds. That's all I'm saying.
I
Okay.
agree. Isn't the original feud, and I might have got this wrong, but isn't the
Yeah.
original feud that there's an accusation that one of them employed the other's backing dancers?
I don't know if it's the original feud. I think you'd have to look in the Old Testament.
No, I mean between those two.
Yes,
between those
they were
two.
poached. They poached.
They
I think
poached them.
Katy Perry poached Taylor Swift's backing dance.
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to
She did.
disrespect
They fell out
any
over
backing
backing
dancers.
dancers.
I don't want to disrespect any backing dancers in the world, but how irreplaceable are they? And I mean, America's population is about 300 million in it. How hard
Well,
can it be to find 3 more people to dance in the background of a song?
Yeah, but the thing is,
First world
they've
problems.
got to learn the routine.
Yeah, but also
Yeah,
for these
that's
people, it's not
20
just
minutes
backing
done.
dancers, it's hired friends, let's be honest.
Oh, is it?
There's the
There is an
problem.
element of hired friends.
Just get a chess app on your phone. You don't even need friends.
No, but it wouldn't work for on stage as a backing.
I mean, get some dancers.
So
Even if
but
you don't like
couldn't
their
be
personalities.
doing Shake It Off with your iPhone propped against the thing with Night to Queen's porn
No, that's
square.
close.
No, he couldn't do that. He couldn't be doing that. It'd be all right, for a novelty
WhatsApp's
thing. It'd be
coming
all right
in.
for maybe for for the first verse, it'd be funny.
True.
But then you want the people to come on in the rolled up trousers.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
But
So
the
you
thing
think
is,
backing dancers are irreplaceable, and it
I
was
don't think they're irreplaceable, but I think one expects a certain loyalty from them.
really.
I mean,
Okay.
backing. The word backing suggests that they are. They've got your back.
Yeah, true.
well, Taylor even wrote a song about this. You may be aware, Bad Blood was about her friendship with Katy Perry.
I
Are
thought
you sighing like an angry parent? Oh, God.
I thought it was about septicemia. I mean, what a fool! What a fool I've been.
I thought it was about the haemophiliac king.
I didn't know that it was about the feud with. So what does it say? Things like.
Oh, baby, now we got bad blood.
And this is by Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She says at one point, Band-Aids don't fix bullet holes. You say sorry just for show. Great lyric.
Okay.
It's exaggerating.
So she had said sorry before. Is that right?
I can't
I
comment
don't
on that.
like Katy Perry. She is not very nice. But you can imagine her
That's
doing
what I
it like that and thinking, "Oh, I like that bit where you brought nice out of the general structure."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point
Very,
is, Katie's ended the feud.
Made friends.
She sent an actual... Actually, let's go for literal. In one of the rare occasions where we can use that correctly.
Literally.
A literal olive branch. She literally sent an olive branch.
Lovely.
Olive branch in a box arrived at Taylor's. I don't know where Taylor. What does Taylor live in? Some sort
No, it
of
was at the stadium where she was performing.
biodome.
Yeah.
She lives in a pod. Yeah.
I imagine
Yeah.
she's in a biodome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Her house basically looks like the Eden Project.
Yeah, I imagine that. How would fit in a little skater skirt.
Look, I'm not one of these persons who goes on about the millennials and how everything's going wrong and we go into hell in a handcart. You know
you
that.
are a
That
bit.
so means you are that.
You are a little bit.
But
No,
I
you're
must
about to-
admit,
Lay into them.
the words "broken Britain" were on my lips when I read in BBC News. They had this story, and then in a paragraph on its own,
Oh, no.
they had on BBC News this sentence: "The olive branch is a symbol of peace." And I thought, well, if you need to tell people that, why don't we just close the whole shop down? Forget about it.
Quite dramatic.
Honestly, is it really? I thought to myself.
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I performed at the Queen's 92nd birthday party this week.
Ooh, la-di-da.
Yeah. Hoity! I said to my partner, "Do you want to come to the Albert Hall and see me play ukulele in front of the Queen?" And she said, "Who else is on?"
Oh, do you know that was almost my question, though?
Wow.
That's harsh, isn't it?
I think.
So
yeah.
she didn't go.
Wow.
So what did you play on the ukulele? Was it Happy Birthday?
No, we played When I'm Cleaning Windows,
Oh,
which
brilliant.
is a song packed with sexual innuendos.
Yeah.
But no one seemed to really notice.
I was going to say, did you keep it clean? Were you doing it?
The windows were.
Gig for the Queen.
Pyjamas lying side by side, ladies' nighties I have spied. I've often seen what goes inside when I'm cleaning windows. Look, I should say I was playing with the George Formby Society. It wasn't just me.
Right.
Well, I'm a member of the society, and I've done a documentary with them before about George Formby. But they said we'll pack it out with a few more celebrities. You know, in other words, I don't think you've got enough celebrity nowadays to carry it.
Right.
So they got me Harry Hill and Ed Balls as my wingmen.
I see.
Yeah, so that was the setup. So it's us three at the front, and then the George Formby Society.
Yeah.
A lot of elder people amongst them, but a really great lot. I think we had a vote, and 70% were more worried about the stairs than the performance.
Right.
And we had to rehearse this bit where we line up behind. When we walk on stage, and Kylie and Tom Jones and Shaggy and Sting. They're singing "What a Wonderful World," and we had to But it so should have been what a ridiculous world. And we had to line up behind them, and then we had to look over our shoulders. We needed wing mirrors. When the royal party arrived, the idea is that we back up. As I said, we're a sort of queen flap.
Oh,
so
right,
we go back, they come in, and then we close again.
Nice.
And but we were waiting in the wings. So there's me, Ed Balls, and Harry Hill waiting in the wings. Ed Balls gives me the bit of elbow in the ribs, and we look round, and the Queen and Prince Charles are standing literally right next to us in the wings, in the dark. She said, "It's very dark." And Harry Hill said, "You need a torch, really?" And I said, "You should have a torch bearer, shouldn't you?" And she said, "Yes, I should, really, shouldn't I?"
Excellent.
So they then wandered towards the stage. She's going, it's very narrow. So I thought, what's the wings? So me and Harry Hill are sort of saying that was pretty amazing. And then what I didn't know is that Ed Balls had gone on ahead, and was ready to do the finale. And he started going, Frank, come on. And she heard him and turned around and went, Frank, hurry up. So the Queen's telling me to hurry up. I've never moved so fast in my life.
Wow.
I had 1,000 images of the man in the iron mask. I don't know why.
So it was literally a royal command performance.
It really was. Frank.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure she didn't know my name. She just copied it.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
I found an email on the email trawl, and it is entitled "Lots of Questions." So strap yourselves in for lots of questions.
I love
Is
a
it
quiz.
from Magnuson?
No, it's not.
Okay.
But it is. I mean, it's quizzing. Hello, guys, and the guy S. I have some questions.
Oh, the guy S, I
I'm
love
not sure
it.
how I feel about that, but
It sounds a bit like a sort of portmanteau for Guy Burgess.
the guy
famous,
S.
the British spy.
Yeah.
I have some questions. Can you tell me all about Descartes? I've been reading the show and the podcast for many years, but I still don't know the joke. I presume Alan slipped up. Who are the Laffies in the studio?
Okay.
What is a think tank? Is it somewhere
What
for
is a
clever
think
fish?
tank?
Much love. Not a bad show. Prisoner 379.
So hang on, do they want us to explain
Quite a lot of different things, yeah.
existentially? I mean, is
No,
it...
I think basically...
I think my mistake.
Yeah,
I think, therefore, I am. I think you'll find.
all that happened was that, we made an enormous fuss about it. Is Al...
Enormous.
René Descartes, the philosopher, was described by Al as Descartes
Yeah.
instead
Yes.
of Descartes. You know, it's a simple
At the time I'd been
mispronunciation.
reading it.
Yeah.
I'd been reading it. I'd not been
That's
talking
the
about
trouble
it.
with reading.
It is,
They
yeah.
don't give you the pronunciations
Yeah.
properly. So we mocked him for this.
We do.
Only for about 6 years, though. I don't
Yeah.
think it was that much.
And then that was...
And then a few weeks later, I called the dog a Weimaraner.
Yeah.
So, you know, I got my comeuppance.
Yeah. And...
Frank has yet to make a mistake.
It
Oh,
is,
yeah, right.
it is a Weimaraner. He stoppeth 1 in 3.
Come on.
Treb on.
So
Let that joke sit there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a think tank. If you're not being ironic, a think tank is a group of people that share ideas and come up with good stuff because they're all sort of, informed and bright.
So is this
Seems
just a
a good
service
gig.
we provide now? We
Seems
just
a good
tell
gig.
people what things mean?
How come I haven't been asked to work in a think tank? Am I not informed and bright enough?
Here's one for you.
Yeah.
The brain drain.
Oh.
Oh,
That,
yeah.
It's supposed to be all the clever people leaving the country. I
Yeah.
suppose that'll happen again soon, will it?
With the EU.
Yeah,
that sort
maybe
of stuff.
maybe it will. I don't know why. It just sounds like the sort of thing that will happen post-Brexit. I haven't got a clue why. Why are they going to leave the country? I don't know. Money. When we won the World Cup, of course, they might think again. I've suddenly got it into my head we're going to win the World Cup.
Have you?
Do you
Yeah.
still believe?
I still believe until Tuesday at least.
Okay.
Yeah, It's what?
People want to know if it
Colombia,
still
Switzerland.
sends... Frank, we've got a question about football. Daniel Brown. Another Daniel this
Dan
morning.
Brown?
Yeah?
Dan Brown.
Well, this will be a cliffhanger. He's asked whether Isaac Newton was around for the forming of the Football League. And is the Football League an anagram of falafel, a French word which for a cult group who used to eat young children at half time instead of half oranges due to a mistranslation. Of orange, enfant and orange. They got mixed up. I mean, it was terrible. They thought, juice, that sounds right. No. But no, it happened.
He's going
anyway.
for the William of Orange pronunciation. Yeah, his avatar features him in a brown cloak. No, it doesn't. Hi, Frank. Does it still send a shiver down your spine hearing Three Lions being played after every goal, like it does me?
Well, I'd say something with my
Good question.
Three Lionsness is my Three Lioness.
Oh, yeah.
Is that I'd say your boss he won't have a lioness. But he thinks they're rubbish because they don't have manes.
Oh.
It's the national costume of the lion, the mane. Come on, girls.
Yeah.
Join in. I went quite a while of thinking, oh, God, they're playing Three Lions. And this year, for some reason, it started to... Maybe it's age and the idea of impending doom.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
But I've started to get quite emotional with it this year. I was at my son's sports day this week and they played it.
Did they?
Yeah. And there was like loads
did they
of
all
people.
turn around to you?
Oh, they all looked at me. Well, they probably
That's
did.
quite
I was
nice.
on a table doing that punch in the air thing.
Had you turned up in an England shirt from the 90s?
No, just the Union Jack waistcoat, nothing else.
Absolute Radio.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.